Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Apps Events Virtual Google Summit. We're going to take a look this particular summit on how to prepare for the new school year with some efficiency tips and tricks. And I am so excited to be joined by some wonderful speakers today. We have Katie Ecklund, who's been a teacher for 10 years in the lovely Palm Springs, although, okay, Palm Springs is amazing, just not in August. Am I right, Katie? But it's gorgeous there. We have Lisa Bergoff, and she has been a teacher for 27 years with her school district. It could be even longer than that, but I saw 27 years. Is that right, Lisa?
This is 28 this year.
Oh my gosh. That's insane. You could write a whole autobiography that we would all read about. I'm sure you have some really fun stories. And then we've got Tammy Lynn, who's been with her district for since 2009. But Tammy, how long have you been in education?
You did have to ask. This is my 30th year.
Oh my.
I usually just say more than 25.
Okay. Tammy has been in education for more than 25. And my name is Kate Petty. I'm the North America Director for Apps Events here in the United States and Canada. And let's see, I've been a teacher since, I don't know the years. I just know that it's been since 2003. So I stopped counting at that point. So we are excited to join you today. We have 3 amazing sessions that we're going to be taking a look at. 2 specifically kind of dealing with Gmail. And then Tammy's going to give us some tips and tricks on efficiency with accessibility and efficiency in Google Docs. So to get started, we are going to start with Katie. And have you ever heard the phrase, you just don't know what you know, or you don't know what you don't know? So we're going to take a look at 30 minutes, and Katie's going to help us clean out our inboxes and be a lot more efficient for this school year. So Katie, are you ready to take it away?
Absolutely. Let's have some fun and get organized.
Let's put Katie in. All right, there we go. Katie, go for it. Share that screen.
All right. Oh, sorry, just one quick moment. It seems to not want to share. Everybody, I apologize for that. Just give me one quick moment.
As we are waiting for Katie, Tammy and Lisa.
Yeah.
So how have your school years gone this year? I know last year was really, really hard for a lot of teachers. I went back to the classroom last year, and I have to tell you, it was the hardest year I had. How are your teachers doing this year?
Go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah, I think so far we're off to a good start. There's good energy, and our students are really happy to be back in school, and all of our activities are going on. So I think there's a real positive vibe and a great energy so far. How about for you, Tammy?
Yeah, I feel the same. I think people are kind of nervous a little bit on how, we're all getting used to being back and all of that kind of stuff. But definitely that it's that nervous energy type thing. So I'm excited. I'm very excited to be back. So kind of that re-energized, let's get into classrooms and do some good work. So
the summer, I'm assuming, then helped everybody. Like everyone needed that summer. It came right at the right time. Well, it probably came a little too late for a lot of people, but summer, I'm assuming, helped out quite a bit.
It was nice, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Katie is back. She says she's ready for us. So I'm going to pull her in and remove us. And Katie, you want to try taking that away again for some Gmail efficiency and tips?
All right. I apologize, everybody. The wonderful, setting up sharing, but hopefully everyone can see me and hear me. Sound good, Kate?
Yeah, we just don't see your screen though. Are you sharing your screen?
Yes. Let me try one more time. Let's try this again. All right. I can see it. Can you not see that option?
I do not see that option. Okay. No.
Let me share a different way then. Let's try sharing this way with you. Let's see. Sorry, everyone.
Katie, why don't you share with me, and then I can share the screen for us as well. Oh, wait, I guess that doesn't work very well, does it? Because you're going to be showing all sorts of efficiency tips and tricks.
I was going to do a live demo in right in Gmail for everybody to make sure that they can access it.
How about we'll try to get in. Let's go into Tammy. Tammy, did you want to try doing the efficiency tips and tricks? And then we'll get back into Gmail. Let's see if we can do this.
I was just signaling you. You got to put me up there. Sure, I'm happy to go ahead. Or Lisa, are you doing?
Lisa's going to do Gmail, so go ahead and do yours, and then Lisa can get into it.
Okay, I am. Hang on, give me just 1 second here. We'll get in here. Now, hopefully, I can get on there.
Yep. Just go ahead and go to the page you need.
Here we go. You should be seeing just a blank Google Doc.
We got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, sort of. Yeah, we got it.
Okay, good. It's not very exciting. So, so I wanted to talk to you about some efficiency tips with Google Docs. Also, these efficiency tips can also be used as accessibility features for kids. I'm a special educator, turned instructional coach, and that is something that I'm very, very passionate about. So most of my technology use really comes through the eyes of accessibility and also efficiency as well. So we're going to go ahead. You're looking at a blank Google Doc right now, or somewhat blank Google Doc right now. And I want to talk to you about 3 main items that we're going to get into. And the first one is so funny because it's been here so long and we just ignore it. And this thing right down here in the bottom right-hand corner, if you're following along live, I would recommend opening up a doc and following along as I talk, and I'll be talking through what I click on. So if you click on the little Explore tool, it's in the bottom right-hand corner. What I love about this is if you have ever done any form of research with students, you know that sometimes it's a nightmare. Sometimes they have 10, 15, maybe 20 tabs open, and they only might need 1, maybe 2. I love the Explore feature for students because it really helps them organize and really kind of step into that research venue just a little bit without leaving their Google Doc. I like it for us because you'll see in a minute, I can work within Google Docs without leaving this one. And so here we are. We have our Explore open on the right-hand side. So if you're doing this with us, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to explore. Oops, I'm going to spell it right though. I'm going to explore a volcano. So when I hit volcano and I type that in, what I get along my right-hand side is a live Google search. This is a search that I love to have for kids as a way to begin that research. Now, if they're looking up volcano and they get search returns that have nothing to do with their research, they know that they need to refine the term that they used. Now, if you look along the right-hand side, I have web options, image options, and drive options. We're going to go through those pretty quickly here. Now, if I look at the web results, I'm going to use this link right here. And I want to just show you. So it says the first sentence of this particular link, and maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. It says there are 161 potentially active volcanoes in the US. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that sentence and I'm going to put it into my document. So I'm going to grab it, just click and drag and drop it in my document. Now, I hope what everybody live or watching this recording is yelling right now at their screen is, what about copyright? You have to cite your sources. Well, you do. And so I'm going to come back over to this area, and you'll see this little quotation right here. When I click on the quotation, look what happens. Hopefully you can see it if I zoom. Look what happens after what I dropped in. There's a little citation. And if I scroll down at the bottom, that's the citation of what I just took that from. That's sort of a mic drop moment. If we were live, I'd probably drop the mic and walk out. Now, if you've ever done research, or maybe you just got your master's and you're thinking, oh my gosh, where was this? Start using this, show your students. Here's another thing you can do. If you click on the little 3 dots over here on the right-hand side, you get the opportunity to change the citation format. So maybe MLA, APA, or Chicago format. You can change that, and that'll change your little footnote at the bottom. And you could use the footnote into a works cited page if you wanted to do that. So that is just a quick overview of the web ability of the Explore tool. Now, the images part of the Explore tool is really great for kids. Again, walking through that research process, they haven't left their Google Doc. I don't have 45 tabs open. I have just my doc, and I'm working here. So if you see an image that you would like to use, when you click on it, and I really like this feature, I'm not going to select the plus sign here. I'm going to click on the image that I'm interested in, and down at the bottom, you get this small text that says images labeled for commercial use with modification. So we have the ability to use this particular image. Now you will come across images that you don't have the right to use. And I apologize, I'm drawing a blank. I did have one queued for that, but that's okay. This one is also labeled for commercial reuse, and that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert it. I want you to notice here on the left-hand side, the actual link to the image is there. So maybe you're just looking out at a place to get started for that next link that you want to look at. If I click here, this will open in a new tab for me. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert it into my document. When I insert it and I click on it, then I also get the citation of where this particular link or this image came from. Okay, I can copy it here if I need to. I can change the link if I need to. That's all right here for me. Again, I have not left my document. That's a big deal. Then the last thing that you have, I'm going to scroll back up to the top, is the ability to look into your Google Drive on things that are related to your search topic. So anything that I have related to volcanoes are listed here as well. And I could insert that document. I can open that document. It'll have in a new tab if I need to do that. So that's the first thing that I want to share with you in Docs. Explore is available to you in slides, docs, spreadsheets, forms. It has different features in each of them. So now you know when you see that little thing in the bottom right-hand corner, click on it. See what you can find out. Play around with it. See what you can use. So that's the Explore tool. The other thing that I want to show you, there's a couple efficiency tips that I want to show you. Let me just get rid of this really quickly here. And that is in the Tools area. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Tools. And if you haven't looked at this lately, you should, because there's, as you can see, some new features. The first thing that I'm going to show you, though, is the voice typing feature. And I'm going to show it to you after I tell you a little aha moment, excuse me, of using the voice typing feature. My big aha moment was we had returned from a field trip to a museum with first grade students, and we asked them to do some writing for us. And as you can imagine, we had been looking at dinosaurs. What do you think was the barrier that our students were facing? Spelling. And every student, they could not move forward on this writing process before they had some help with spelling. So on a whim, we tried the voice typing option. It was fantastic. We removed the barrier of spelling. We let the kids get their information out. And then we went in and we talked about how to make it pretty. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to turn voice typing on. And as I turn it on, you can see it's quite quick with dictation, and it's really, really accurate. I love having kids use voice typing. And we know as educators, it's appropriate for sometimes and not appropriate for others. You know when it's useful and when it's not. I can also tell you as an educator, I use this all the time. I'm becoming the worst keyboarder ever because I use voice typing so much now. So I can turn this on if I'm working on a curriculum document with my colleagues. I can turn on voice typing and we can go from here. If I happen to be doing some research, maybe I'm reading from my research, I'm putting it into my document, and then I'm going back and I'm making it pretty, I guess, for lack of a better term. Don't forget about voice typing. It is so efficient and nice to use as you're working on curriculum documents or grade level documents. The other thing that I want to show you in tools is this thing right down here, this preferences thing. Hold on one second. Let me just get to a new spot here in my document. I'm going to go back up to preferences. Now, preferences, when you first look at them, not all that exciting. But watch what you can do. So let's say that I'm a STEM teacher and I find myself constantly writing science, technology, engineering, and math all the time. Well, using preferences, now I can write STEM, and I chose to put a 1 after it. And when I hit enter, look what happens. It types those words for me. If I put in STEM 1 in all caps, it types those words for me. The reason I added a 1 is because there are times when I just want to have the word STEM. Now, let me go back. I'm going to go to Tools. I'm going to go down to Preferences, and I'm going to go to Substitutions, which is sitting right here. Now, if you look at the bottom, I have my STEM 1 right here. Now, let's pretend that you happen to have a very long name, and you may have already seen what I was going to put here. Let's pretend that your name is Wolfgang, and we're not going to put his middle name. We're just going to say Mozart. Here we are. So we have Wolfgang Mozart. Well, I don't want to have to type it each time, and I'm not using voice typing at this moment. So when I type WM, I want to have my name inserted. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to go back, and now when I type WM, my name comes in. Think about using this as an efficiency tool. We know as we're building curriculum documents, as we're working on student reports, we know that we oftentimes are using the same verbiage over and over and over. So again, that is the preferences tool in tools. And before I go on to my next thing, Kate, I was noticing I have my timestamps based on my original time. So I just might need you to give me some time call outs, okay? When I'm getting close. All right. So I'm going to keep going. The next thing that I want to make sure that you have from tools is new, and that's this thing right here. That's the notification settings. Now, you may have used these with the @ symbol where I could put @ and whoever I might be collaborating with. And they will get a notification through comments. I can assign things to them in comments. But now you actually can get a notification at every edit in a document. Again, I'm going to come back to those curriculum documents. My district we are very focused on our PLC work. And so we have communication documents that have the same verbiage. And we have shared documents that I might go into to prepare for a PLC meeting. And I might want my team to know that I added information. They can now set this up and get notifications here. All right. So we have our tools section with preferences. We have voice typing. And we have our notification settings. I just want to very quickly highlight the accessibility feature here. And I want you to make sure this may be something that you would use or maybe not. I want you to know that it's here. If you have students that use screen readers or if they may use a screen magnifier, this is where you might be able to turn some of that support on and off depending on your student. All right. The next thing I'm going to share with you are these things called extensions. And I'm going to hop over to this document right here. This is a document that has been completed now so that we have something to work with. Extensions are things that used to be called add-ons. Actually, they're still called add-ons, but it used to say add-ons here, and now it says extensions. If you click on it, now you have your home for add-ons. I love to think of add-ons as if you ever were working in Google Docs and you thought, Google Docs is great, but it doesn't do this. Add-ons are the this. So there are so many of them. I'm going to just scroll through here so that you can see them. I'm going to highlight 2 of them just in the interest of time. But I just want to show you there are so many options. I know a lot of teachers that use the orange slice teaching rubric and the student rubric for that. There are so many options here. There's mail merge in here, Avery labels, all those things that as educators we find ourselves using over and over and over again. These are called add-ons, and you can add them and remove them if you don't use them. Okay, so I'm going to close this up and click here, and I want to just highlight 2 of them for you. The first one that I want to highlight is called Word Cloud Generator. And it's so funny. The old original word cloud thing was called Wordle, not the game, but it was called Wordle. And there's also one called Tagxito that you might have heard of. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to generate a word cloud based on my Volcano research. So I'm going to click Modern, and here it comes along the right-hand side. Now, what I love about this, I've got my research. By generating this word cloud, all of the words that are big are words that have been used more often in this particular document. I love this as a way for students to check their writing. So if they're writing about volcanoes, look at what we have over here. We've got magma, rock, and molten. We also have volcano. We know if those are the focus of our student writing, we know that we're doing pretty well with that. This is a quick visual way to have kids check their writing. Now, I'm going to show you just quickly how you can also insert it. So here's my word cloud. Oh, before I do that, I want to show you one thing here. You also can adjust the color palette. So if I want to change that, watch my word cloud now. If I click adjust, you can see it'll redo it and it'll add different colors. So I'll do that again. If I click adjust here, it rebuilds it and adds colors. I also can remove words if I want to do that. Okay. I also can change the size of this particular word cloud. But what I want to show you here is if I want to add this particular word cloud to my writing, it used to be that you could click and drag. If you've ever used this, it's changed now. So I'm going to go ahead and click download, but watch what happens, especially when I'm using Chrome. I'll leave it called chart. And I'm going to click save here. And it's going to put it at the bottom. When I see that, if I click and drag, now it will drop it into my document. And then from here, I can change the size. I can make it bigger or smaller. I can insert it with text if I want to do that. I can do anything that I need to do in my doc because now it's considered an image. Okay. So if you go to download in Chrome, it'll put it along the bottom and then you can click and drag it. So I'm going to delete that for now because I want to show you the last extension or add-on that I want to share with you. So I'm going to close that up. I'm going to go back to extensions. And the last one that I want to show you is called Text Help. Now, Text Help is made by a company that creates accessibility tools. So you may have heard Read Write for Google. That's this right up here. It's fantastic. That would be a whole other session if we were talking about that. Text Help Study Skills, though, is free, and it's an add-on that you can put into the extension part of Docs. You only have to add it once. So I'm going to click Show Highlighting Tools. And what we have along here are highlighters. Now, before I start showing you this, I want you to think about not just students turning things back to you, but I want you also to think about you providing support documents for students. So think about that as we're looking at this highlight option. So I have my volcano research. I've opened my highlight tool. Now let's say that I'm going to highlight in yellow. All that said was that I have to highlight first and then select the color. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight some of my vocabulary words. So I'm going to highlight lava. I'm going to select lava and then highlight that yellow. Let's see here. I'm also, here's molten. I'm going to select that and highlight that yellow. I'm actually going to highlight molten rock. There we go. And we'll highlight that yellow. Now, if I scroll down, maybe I want to now highlight some of the words that have to do with the actions of a volcano. So let's see what we have here. So we have movement. I'm going to click here and I'm going to highlight that green. We have, let's see, we have vent. I'm going to actually select that and highlight that green. And let's see, I thought I saw, there we go. Let's select erupt and we're going to highlight that green. The other thing that I like is let's just choose some words. Let's choose geologist and we're going to highlight that pink. And let's see, we will select this particular location in Hawaii of this particular volcano, also pink. Now, here is my completed highlighted document. It's a fantastic way to have kids work on vocabulary or main idea, or for you to share with them vocabulary and main idea. But look what we can do here. I can come over to the text help highlight tool and I can click collect highlights. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and I get some options. I can collect them by document position, but I'm going to collect mine by color and watch what happens here. What it's doing in the background is it's building a brand new Google Doc with just my highlights. So look what I can do. I'm going to click here. Here are my highlights. So I have just built a study guide on volcanoes with the click of a few highlights and a new document. So I can do whatever I need to do now in this doc. So think about the collaborative features of Google Docs. So I could share it if I'm working in a group. I could put it into Google Classroom. There are so many options from here with my highlights. If I need to get back to my original document, that's what this one is. When I click on that, it will take me back to the highlighted documents. I'm going to close that up. And then when I'm done, I can go ahead and clear them out. Now I'm going to go close this up. And let's just quickly do a quick refresher of what we looked at. And then I'm going to hand it off to the next person. So in extensions or add-ons, you can add them here. I showed you text help and I showed you word cloud generator. Please take some time to look at the other options there. We looked at tools, we looked at preferences, accessibility, voice typing, and notification. And then we also took some time to finally check out this thing that has been sitting in the bottom right-hand corner of Docs all along, this Explore tool. So hopefully that will start you down the path of being a little bit more efficient with your work, but then also providing some support and removing barriers for your kids. So thank you so much. I'm going to actually come over here and stop sharing. And sorry to give you that big, long, the screen of death that is. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you. And you know what's funny with the voice typing? One of the things that I was doing last year with my students, they had a commute. My students definitely had a commute last year. So I'd say, okay, in the car on the way home, just voice type your essay, and then, fix it once you get there. But you have time, I was trying to give them tips and tricks for having the time to be able to do that. And so that voice typing, my own daughter will actually voice type the first drafts of her essays, and then, go back to fix the grammar or anything that happened. But voice typing is a game changer. It would be pairing voice typing with citations. It makes you almost want to go back and get a second degree at the university.
Well, and voice typing too. What I love about it too is it's just fast. It's so much faster than than typing. And I think I love the idea of the removing that barrier from kids, because they got a lot going on up here, right?
Mhm.
So if we can get it from here to there,
Mhm.
just by voice typing, please, please, please let your kids do it. That's my my ask for today.
Yeah, it's kind of like we walked to, up the hill, up the hill both ways in the
Right.
snow.
In snow, and yeah.
Let's not let them make them do that too.
Right.
Well, thank you very much. So I have a couple of things I wanted to share just really quickly. And I'll take Tammy off. So before we bring Katie in, I just wanted to share some really exciting news. Apps Events has created some really fun courses for free for educators. There are a few educator courses, but there are also some admin console 1, 2, and 3 Google courses. So whether you're an IT or whether you're a teacher, go to learn.appsevents.com and you can take these free courses that we've designed to be able to learn a little bit more. We also want to just thank very much so Acer, our partner for these Edu Summits. And just so you know, if you go to gsummit.link/Acer, you can win a free seat to one of our in-person boot camps or summits coming up, in-person or virtual boot camps or summits coming up soon. So again, that link is gsummit.link/Acer. And we can, we'll come back to that if you need to, or if you're watching this recording, just pause it and keep going. And then finally, we are excited to let you know that we are a reseller for licenses now. So if you are a teacher who loves to try new things in your classroom and you're realizing that maybe in Google Classroom, you don't have access to unlimited originality reports or to practice sets that you keep hearing about, ask your administrators if they can get you a 60-day trial of the Education Plus and let them know, hey, if you'll let me try these licenses out in my classrooms, I'll give you the report on how things went. So we just wanted to put that out there, let you know about those things. And I think at this point, we're going to try bringing Katie back in again. I totally apologize. That was all on my end, I believe. So we're going to try bringing Katie back again and seeing if we can make this work. And Katie, did you want to now try sharing your screen?
Absolutely. Let me click all these quick little buttons and let's hope that it's going to work for us. All right. Can you see it?
I can see it, but go ahead and move to the tab you wanted to go to real quick.
Perfect.
Yay, we got it, Katie. It was my
Yay, awesome. So excited.
No.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. I'm so excited to be here and to share my favorite things about getting organized with Gmail. And I am going to just walk you through those together today and show you some different things that I use on a daily basis. Because as you can even see right here in my email, there are some emails in here that I'm going to need to organize, and I'm going to do that alongside of you today. While you're watching this, if you want to open up another tab that you can switch between and go and try these things with me, or open up a second screen, feel free. But you can always go back and watch the recording as well. So let's just go ahead and get started. The first place we're going to get started with is over up here in the corner in our settings area. When you click on that settings wheel, it's going to take you to your quick settings menu. And I'm going to go ahead and just zoom in just for a minute to kind of make this a little bit bigger for you, because there's some things I would like to share in here that I think will be your first stop on organizing your email. So if you scroll down, you'll see you have different options right here between changing the theme or the density. But really where I want to focus is on the inbox type. Choosing your inbox type is a really great place to get started with organizing, because you can make your inbox work for you. And everybody has different preferences. As you can see, I'm not using the default, and many of you probably still have it on the default. I like to see all of my unread messages first, because to me, that's where I need to draw my attention. So that's why I have this type of inbox selected. So go ahead and check these out. You can customize them as well. And the great thing about these settings is if you make a change and it doesn't work for you, you can come right back in here and you can adjust it to another option or always take it back to that default if that works best for you. So check out inbox type. That's my first tip, but we're also going to keep scrolling down in these quick settings. And then we have what is called a reading pane. If you have not adjusted this, you're probably on what is called the no split, meaning there's no reading pane, meaning you just see all of your emails, and when you select them, that's when they appear. Well, I like to have a reading pane so I can see my emails on one side, and then I can have that preview of my email on the other side. So I have the right of the inbox option. You could also choose the below inbox so that your message will appear below your inbox. These are just other great ways, again, to organize the view of your email. So go ahead, try those out. And if you don't like them, you can, again, always go back to that split view. So those are some of my first helpful tips that I wanted to share with you to check out. But now we're going to go in and click where it says see all settings to go into our Gmail settings to go over another few important areas that I think will help you organize your Gmail. We're going to go ahead and start in this general tab. We are not going to go through all these tabs, just a couple highlights that I'd want to share with you along the way. So in this general tab down here, I'm just going to scroll down just a little bit. And you're going to see that there's many options here, and feel free to adjust them, especially if things like your text style, if you would like, or any of these options you can turn on or off. Just again, things that I like to do, but we're not going to kind of dive in today. But what I do want to show you is kind of all the way down here. You can create a signature. And I like to highlight this in an organization setting just because it's really helpful to be able to have multiple signatures if you need to, depending on who you're sharing your information with. But a signature is really helpful so that when you email people, they know who's emailing them and maybe any contact information that you need to. That's really helpful. And you can always create new ones right here. And maybe this one I will call that. And then you can see now I have two different signatures, and you can add in your content right there. Click on the edit pencil to edit that name if you need to, or delete it. So these are great ways to bring in more options through your signature as well. So feel free to check those out. Also, big reminder, anytime you make any changes in your settings, always scroll to the bottom and click that save button. There's two more tabs in this area that I want to go over with you. The next one is right here, and my screen is zoomed in, so this may be kind of along the top bar for you, but go ahead and look for that chat and meet option. I think that this is very helpful in organization because it allows you to organize your screen. You're going to see that I have my inbox options here along with my labels below, but you may have some other options that are appearing over on this left-hand side, such as the chat option or the Google Meet option. So I like to turn those off to maximize the size of my inbox window, but I can always come in here and turn these on if you would like, and you simply just select them and don't forget to click save. Or you can do it vice versa. Maybe you want to get some of that real estate back and manage your Google Chat and your Google Meet outside of your Gmail. You can absolutely do that by just, again, turning it off or hiding that section in the main menu. Whichever one works best for you. I like to have the maximum kind of real estate for all of my Gmail needs. So I do toggle those off, but it's a personal preference. And again, anytime you make a change, always click save. And the last tab we're going to talk about is this advanced tab. This advanced tab has some different options inside of Gmail that I love that you can enable or disable. Anything from the auto advance, so it'll show the next conversation. So you can enable that if you'd like to. Templates is one that I absolutely love, and I will show you just a little bit later in the session, and you can enable that right here. Custom keyboard shortcuts can be enabled. If you have that Google chat turned on and you want it to be on the right-hand side of your screen instead of the left, you can turn that on here. And the unread message icon, it's really super teeny, but up here in the top of my window, you can see there's a number that gives me, so if I'm in another tab, I can see how many emails I have in my inbox. So those are some options. And again, anytime you make changes, go ahead and click save. I didn't make any adjustments, so that button is grayed out for me. But if I were to, for example, enable this, then I would be able to save that right there. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and click cancel and head back to my inbox. So those are my first tips and tricks for you that I like to start with. I think starting in our settings in our Gmail is really helpful and really important. So now let's get to organizing. As you can see right here, I have 13 unread emails and I want to start organizing these emails. So a really great way to organize is using labels. And you see these over here on the left-hand side. If you have not created any labels, then obviously you're not going to see a nice little populated list. But I'm going to show you how right now to create your own labels, and then we're going to talk about applying labels and moving to labels. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on More, and you're going to see that you have lots of options pop up here. And if you scroll down all the way to the bottom of this area, you're going to see two options, Manage Labels and Create Labels. We're going to start by creating a brand new label. You're going to go ahead and title it. And then you're going to see that you have the option to nest a label. What this would do is this would allow you to put like a label inside of a label, or you can kind of also maybe think of it as a folder. You can have a top level folder then with subfolders under it. Same thing with the labels. So you can choose to do that or just create a top level label, and then you're going to click the create button. And now that I've created that, if I scroll all the way down, you can see here is my brand new label that was created right there, quick and easy. If I click on this label, it's going to take me into that, but I haven't placed anything in there. So that's why we don't see anything inside of there. So that's creating labels. So that's going to be one of the first things that you want to do when you're trying to get organized is make some labels. And again, remember, you can have sub labels under labels if you really like to get organized and have lots of levels to that organization. Once I click on an email, right, I can see based on my settings preference that I have my reading pane right here next to it, so I can preview that email. And when you have an email selected, you have some different options that pop up with your labels. And that is these two buttons right here. I mentioned that we want to focus on the difference between applying a label and moving to a label. So this little icon right here, when you hover over it, it says labels. So if I were to select this and I want to apply a label to this, maybe my sample folder, I can come right here and I can check that box and click apply. So now I can see that I have two places for this one email. It's in my inbox and it also has the label of sample. So it lives in kind of two places at once. So that's the way you can apply a label to start that organization. But maybe you don't want this email kind of sitting in your inbox, right? You've read it, you've done the task, but you want to save this in an organized way. So instead of just applying the label, this is what my favorite way to do it is I use this move to, which is right next to that label. It looks like a folder right there for you. So you can click on that and then you can go down and you can select it, or you can simply type the name because maybe you have lots of labels. So you can type the name, select the label that you want it to move to, and there you go. So if I scroll down, remember it's all the way down here, and click on that, look, there is my email and it is now moved. I also want to call your attention to now it says that it's only in sample because I used that move to option right here. So do keep that in mind, kind of the difference between applying a label and just that move to option. So really great options, really great ways to start that organization and moving things maybe out of your inbox when you're done with them into a nice organized system of labeling for you. So now that we've talked about applying and creating labels, I do want to take you back up here. Again, one more time, we're going to click on this more option and scroll down. Above create, there was this area called manage labels. If we click on that, it's going to take us into our Gmail settings. So this is also a really great place to manage any of those labels. And you can see that they tell you if they are showing or hiding. And you can, in this management area, you can select them. So this one right now is on show. And if I wanted to change that to hide, I would just simply click right there and it would adjust. So there's lots of options right here with these ones that are kind of pre-made already for you. And then you have your different categories. And then these are all the labels that you create. And I can see quickly how many emails are currently, or conversations are currently inside of each of these labels. I can also create new labels straight from in here as well. So lots of really great ways to go ahead and manage all in one place too. If you're creating a lot of labels, it's great to come in here and then just create them. And then you can use these options to show them, hide them, or maybe you only want them to pop up if there's something unread in there, things like that. So lots of options, including removing it or editing it. So keep that in mind when you are working on your labels. So now let's go back to our inbox. And I'm going to do that by just simply clicking on my inbox and kind of taking you back right inside of here. So next up, I want to talk about searching our inbox, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I get so many emails and sometimes I file them away and I think I know where they are, but I just can't find them. So we have this wonderful search bar at the top that will allow you to search. And as you can see, look, I click on it and it already has some of my old search options that I've done recently kind of pop up. But what I want to focus on up here is you can simply type in here keywords. So I can type the word welcome and it's going to pull up anything that has that word in it. So it can be really simple, or you can get more complicated and do what is and type in what we like to call search operators. So if I type in from and then I can choose Kate, I can have any emails from Kate pop up right there. And that's one search operator option. So you can look from certain people, but if you don't know who it's from, maybe it was something that you sent that you're trying to find. So maybe I'm going to say, find emails that I sent to this email address. And so another search operator is that to, and then you can have it search for anything to that specific person. There are many search operators. Another popular one is using the subject, which is really helpful, or you can do keywords like before or after. So maybe I want to do before, we'll just say 2022 08 01. So anything before that date. So you can see, look, here's a ton of emails all coming before that date. What's really great about this is this can allow me to take things that maybe I haven't addressed from way long ago and just do something very simple like select them all. And if I have more than 50, it'll pop up in this little thing that says select all conversations that match this. And then I can do something like do a mass archive right here and just move them all. So I'm not deleting by clicking this archive box. I'm simply just moving them all into what is called the all mail area. And it just does a mass archive. And sometimes that is really helpful to be able to do with things that we have done maybe in the past. Maybe we weren't able to get it 100% organized. So we can kind of grab all of these together in one big mass selection and then just archive them quickly and know that we can come over to this all mail or use our search operators to find them at a later date, but they won't clog up our inbox. So that's one of my favorite ways to kind of be able to search. Another great thing that you can do inside of search is, and I did that really fast, so let's try that again. From up here in our search bar, you're going to click on this little icon and it says show search options when you hover over it. This is a way you can do a really advanced search. So instead of just doing one operator, you could do multiples because maybe you know who it goes to and the subject, or things like has the words, doesn't have. You can also include attachments. So lots of really great options right there that you can customize a search and pull that in, including a date range. So if you don't want to use a search operator and get really kind of more fine-tuned and use multiple pieces, this advanced search option is a really great way for you to do that. So those are a great way to organize your emails that have already come in and allow you to kind of take them and kind of find them in mass and archive them or move them, whatever works best for you and your organization. So now let's keep going forward because I still have lots of fun more tricks for you that I like to share. So let's keep going. The other organization tool that I really love to use is my starred area right here. I love using starred because it allows me to be able to place things in a place that I can go and quickly access them. But before we go to that area, I'm going to take us back into our settings one more time in this see all settings, because I want to show you how you can customize your stars. It's not just one type of star. You can have many different types of stars and really customize those. So I'm going to scroll down here until this starred area. You're going to see that you have an in use list and a not in use list. And right now I have all 5 of these options that are in my in use, and I have these ones that I'm not using. But if I wanted to change that, I could simply click and then just drag it up. So that's how I could add one. And then I could easily also then remove one. So lots of great ways to customize your stars, because maybe you want to use your stars for different things. And that's why I love these little icons of this exclamation point, the check mark, question, and the little kind of like eye or information icon. So once you have your list options, you're going to have that in there. And again, don't go to the bottom and click Save Changes. Once you have those, you can go back into your email and you can start using them. So say this email right here, I have it open, but I want to be able to go back to it. So I can hover right here. I can click star right there. I can click my star right here, either location. You click it once, it's going to apply your first star, but I don't want it to be that yellow star. I want to use one of those other options. So if I click it again and come right over here, I can just keep clicking right here. And now I have my red exclamation mark. I can click again and get my green check mark, my purple question mark, and so on. And I can change that. And you just keep clicking until you land on the one that you want. So for this one, I'm going to get and click until I see my blue eye or information icon. So it's a great way to be able to label these different ones. I can apply that multiple times. Maybe I'm going to apply my red exclamation point right there. So lots of options right there for you. And once you start placing things into that starred area, all you simply do is click on that and you can see them all coming in right here. And that starred icon is just a really great way to keep organized and to keep things knowing where they are, but not having to kind of leave them in that unread part of your inbox. So that's another organization tip that I think is super fun and a great way to be creative and customize your inbox. Now, you can also create filters, because if you're like me, you can see I have some emails that kind of come in that maybe I don't want to come straight to my inbox. Maybe I want to read them at a different time because I don't have time today to look at that, but I want to be able to maybe look at it later. There are a way to do that in your Gmail is to create filters. Filters are a really nice way to have and create something that will be done automatically for you. So this wonderful advertisement right here, right? Instead of having it always pop into my inbox, maybe I want to be able to filter it to another location. So there are many different ways to do this. But one quick and easy thing that you can do is you can take the email that it comes from, right? And you can copy that up into your search area, or you can again go into that advanced search. So if I put in that from email address, and then you'll notice I have this option down here that says create filter. When I click on that, it's going to give me this new pop-up box, and it's going to say, what do you want to do with your filter? Do you want it to skip the inbox altogether and just go straight to archiving it? Do you want to have it be an automatic star? Do you want it to go to a specific location? Do you want to delete it? So many options here for you. And I love that because you can create filters to do many, many different things. Maybe because this is an advertisement that I don't want, I could select that, delete it, and then I would never see anything from this email again. Or maybe I want to apply to that label. Notice when I clicked on something else, it did leave that check mark. So make sure if you want to uncheck it, you go back and actually uncheck that. Maybe instead of having it come to my inbox, I want it to go to a new one. And I want to be able to read these later when I have time. So I could absolutely do that, create one, and then it will apply that. Okay. But notice, if I just check this one box, it's going to only apply the label, not necessarily move it. If you want it to not go to your inbox and go straight to the label, you're also going to have to check this skip the inbox and apply the label, and then it will go straight to that label for you. So really kind of think through all of the options that you do select, because you can select multiple ones at a time. And then once you have all of your options selected, okay, you're going to, let me zoom out because I'm really zoomed in. So show you right there. We have this blue button right here that says create filter. So once you're ready to go, you're just simply going to click create, and then it will do that moving forward. So notice this email is still sitting right here because I just used this email to grab this. So any emails I get moving forward will then automatically go all the way down and go straight inside of this label moving forward anytime I get one of those. So filters are a great way to help clean your inbox without you actually having to do anything. You can have things go to specific places. I love to use the filter to also draw attention to specific things. When we were inside of creating our filter, I'm going to go back here because there's one other thing that I wanted to point out. You can also do that star it, and it allows you to kind of put it in that start area, because maybe you receive emails from an administrator that you want to go into a specific place, or you can always do the always mark as important. So it's like, hey, calling your attention to it. So lots of really great ways to customize those filtering options for you. So check out those when you have time and try by creating one. The great thing about filters is if you go back into your settings where it says see all settings, you can always go right here where it says filters. And if you're like, oh, this one did not work for me, you can come right in here and you can delete it, and then it's gone and that filter will stop working. So you're not stuck with it forever. You can change it from your settings at any time. All right. So another really helpful organization tip that I also do love to share is, say you read an email and you're like, ooh, I'm going to do this maybe tomorrow. There's this great button at the top that says snooze, and you can say, I'm going to do this tomorrow at 8 a.m. So I'm going to select that, and now that email will come back to me tomorrow at 8 a.m. So that's a really great way to be able to take something and kind of just have it go and reappear when you need it to reappear. And the last thing that I want to talk about is when you're writing emails. There's two things in here that I want to go over with you, just as some helpful tips and tricks as well. We talked about in our settings the option to have templates. Templates are a really great way to create templates inside of your Gmail that will allow you to have things that you can grab really quick. So maybe this reminder email, and I can drop it in there and then send it quickly. Or if you're replying to someone's email, you can use your templates to have different reminders pop up as needed as well. So to create a template, my first advice is to start with a blank email. So if you have a signature, again, erase the signature. You want everything to be blank if you're going to create a template. Start off with a completely blank email, and then write your full template, whatever you want it to do, including a subject. And then you're going to go down to those 3 dots and hover over the word template. Because this is a new one, you're going to click Save as Draft and select the Save New Template. You can give it a custom name and click Save. So now if I just discard or delete this email and go to compose again, I can go over here to my 3 dots. So notice my signature is back, and I can use this template reminder and have it drop automatically in there for me. So super helpful, super great way to be able to utilize templates. And then my other favorite thing about sending emails is right next to the send button is this schedule send. This is really great. Oh, and see, if you don't have anyone to send it to, you're going to get that error. So let me just type in an email address. And then this schedule send will allow you to pick a customized date and time. This is super helpful for me because maybe I'm doing some work in the evening, but I don't want it to go till the next morning. This schedule send is a huge, huge time saver. So make sure you check it out and utilize that for your own sending organization. And my final kind of tip and trick for you is all of this that I've gone over is right available for you, because I know I just covered a lot and you can come back and watch this, but you can also always go to support.google.com and click on Gmail, and it will walk you through all of these helpful organization tips and tricks. And thank you so much for spending this short amount of time with me and kind of hanging in there through some organization. I know I shared a lot, and I hope that it helped you get organized. Kate, you're on mute.
Thank you. I do something controversial. I use my inbox as my to-do list. So being able to archive snooze emails, especially, is huge for me, because I know that if it's in my inbox, it's something I've got to do. And if it's something I'm going to do tomorrow, I snooze it. And then that schedule thing is huge for me too. You know, I don't know about other people, but when people email me, I feel this impulse to respond to them. And I don't have, there's so many times I don't need that. For instance, if I work on a Saturday, I don't need a response over the weekend. So I'll schedule it for Monday morning, you know, so anyway, so then they can reply on their Mondays or what have you. Are you the same way?
Absolutely. Me too. Because I don't want a reply on a Sunday evening. I'm just preparing for my week so it can go the next morning.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that. That was so helpful. And I appreciate all of those tips and tricks. I do know actually one more thing. One of our friends, one of our colleagues, Amanda, loves showing the archive or the filter for emails to delete. If you're one of those people that has like 3,000 emails going, and in your inbox, and you're never going to respond to anything that was 4 years ago, you can actually do that filter for search and just delete all the emails from 4 years ago, or archive all the emails from 4 years ago.
Yep, absolutely. That's that before search operator. So type that in, grab them all, and you can delete or archive. That's one of my favorite things to do too.
It's huge. It's a game changer for sure.
Yes.
Well, before we get to our last presentation, there's a few things I wanted to share. If you're having fun, I have colleagues in both Europe and Asia who are way more expertise with this whole summit thing. I'm going to be that way next time, I swear. But we have all sorts of really, really fascinating summits and how-tos and things on our YouTube channel. So if you'd like to go to video.appsevents.com and subscribe, watch, like, share, get those notifications when we've released something new, please do so. We also are fortunate enough to be able to be an ISTE certified provider for certification. We do have a couple of cohorts coming up on both October 10th and November 8th. These are absolutely 100% virtual. So there's nothing that you have to be in person for, and you can go in and check out, get some more information on what it is to be an ISTE certified educator, and then perhaps even become one in one of our cohorts. Again, we'd like to thank Acer for giving us the opportunity to be able to share all of these really fun tips and tricks this weekend. Acer obviously has a wide range of Chromebooks out, including, we were just talking about this before we went live, the professional Chromebooks for teachers. They actually have created a Chromebook that is much more powerful than a student device, where teachers can get on and not have to worry about anything dropping. It has a really strong system in order to help teachers not only go virtual with their students, but have a lot of tabs open while they're doing it as well. So if you haven't had a chance to check out the professional version of Chromebooks, I would strongly suggest you get a chance to go look or take a look at what they offer. And then one more time, we just wanted to say, go to gsummit.link/ACER, and you can win a seat at any of our future boot camps or summits. So that's really, really exciting. I am going to get to introduce now Lisa. Lisa is coming to us, and she's going to do kind of a Gmail part 2, where she's going, well, Katie showed us everything that's in Gmail. Lisa's going to show us everything that's connected to Gmail, where you never have to really leave, and you may have never seen some of these things that are happening. So I'm going to stop my screen here, Lisa, and hopefully you'll be able to go ahead and get started. Yeah.
Okay, let's give it a try. How are we doing?
We're doing fantastic. I'm going to add it right now. There you go.
Great. Thank you so much. This is so much fun. And I know that this wasn't the original order that we had intended to go in, but this actually works out great because Tammy talked about accessibility tools, and my first 19 years as an educator, I worked as a special ed teacher with students with disabilities. So I'm always looking through the lens of how do we remove barriers and how do we make things a little bit easier for our students. And then with Katie talking about Gmail, this next session that I'm about to do for you really kind of marries those two things. So let's get into it. So we are going to be looking at Gmail integrations, and there are several things that are tools within Google Workspace that are built into Gmail. And you may be looking at your own Gmail. I hope you're following along. And you might be saying, where are they? I don't see them. So down in this lower right corner, it says Show Side Panel. If you click on that, you will see some icons up here. And that is where you can find your Gmail integrations. So if you want them gone, sometimes we just want more real estate on our page with Gmail, you can always click and hide it. But let's take a look at all of these integrated tools and how they can help you and your students. So quick background about me. I work with high school students. So here in the US, that's grades 9 through 12. So they're 14 years old to about 18 years old. And many of my students that I work with also have learning differences. So the fact that these tools are built into Gmail is really, really huge. They don't really want anything that's special or different or designed specifically for people with learning differences. That's not cool at all. So the fact that this is built in for everyone to use within Gmail really makes a difference. And I think that there is a much greater chance that my students will actually use these. So let's take a look at this first icon. It should look familiar to you. This is Google Calendar. And you can see that it will open up that's Sunday. It will open up right within Gmail. So often I am looking at my email messages and there are time sensitive things in there, or there are questions of when can we meet? When can we have a phone call? And so instead of needing to open a new tab or open a new window and go back and forth looking at my calendar, I can actually see it all right here. And I have a couple of different views. So if I click this little arrow at the top here, I can actually choose any date that I want. So if I'm reading a message and someone is asking about October 5th, I can click right there. And now I'm looking at my schedule for October 5th. I can also choose this 3 vertical dot option menu. And instead of seeing the entire day, I can just choose to see my schedule. And you can see that I can scroll through many days here. And it doesn't show me all of the extra downtime. It just shows what I have scheduled. So that can be a really helpful tool. Now, another thing to notice is that I have an email here that is actually a calendar invitation for the 19th. So if I go ahead to September 19th, I can see it's right here. And it makes it really easy for me to see if I have a conflict, and I can go ahead and I can RSVP to that calendar invite right here. I really encourage my students, especially those with executive functioning issues, to take advantage of Google Calendar. So this is a little bit of an aside, but you'll see that I have different calendar items coded in different colors. And so I really encourage my students to use Calendar in that way and to color code. All you have to do is right click on a calendar item and you can change the color. And this happens to be a recurring event. So if I would like to change the color of all of those events, now my lunch shows up as purple. So I can click on that meeting and I can get more details and I can RSVP to it right here. So this is a really nice integration that allows you to stay within your Gmail screen and access your calendar. Okay, this next tool is Google Keep. If you have not used Google Keep before, I highly, highly encourage you to give it a try. At its core, Google Keep is digital sticky notes. And what's great about Google Keep Notes is that just like other Google products, you can collaborate with others. So you can create notes that are shared notes. You can use these for lists. You can add images. I'm going to show you a couple of things here within Google Keep. And what's nice is that Google Keep is right here in my Gmail screen, but I can also click to open it in a new tab. And this is the Google Keep interface right here. I will tell you, as an aside, not related to school, but Google Keep is like a marriage saver. You can see here that I have my grocery list here and it's shared with my husband, and we will add things to the list and then whoever is at the store can check them off. So if I pick up fruit, I can just click it and now it shows up at the bottom that it has been completed. So Google Keep, I could do a whole workshop just on Google Keep, but really quickly to let you know that just like when Katie was talking about labeling your Gmail messages, you can also label your Google Keep notes. So you can see here that I have 2 labels, one that says school notes and one that says shopping lists. So if I only want to see my shopping lists, I can click there and it will only show me those Google Keep notes that are for shopping. And here are my school lists. You will also notice that some of these are just automatically at the top. That is because they are pinned. So when I hover over the note, I can click and I can unpin and it moves down towards the bottom. So sometimes I have notes that I just need to keep at the forefront and I will pin them to keep them at the top. And I know that Kate had mentioned that she uses Gmail as her to-do list. I would encourage everyone to move your to-do list out of your inbox and over to Google Keep. So while I'm in Gmail, when I click Google Keep, I can just click this plus button here to take a note. So I can put collaborative learning ideas. Sometimes I just get these like brainstorms and I just need to get them down somewhere. And I love physical sticky notes, but they get lost and they don't stay sticky for very long. So this is where I can add all of my ideas, and they will sync over all of my devices. Now you'll notice that the note that I just started does not have these checkboxes. If I want to start a list, I can click this little icon here, and now I will have my checkboxes. So different ways that you can use Google Keep. When you are within the Google Keep screen, you have lots of other options as well. So you can change the color of your notes. Sometimes I will color code them. I'm really a visual person, and I think that my students are too. So I will encourage them to color code, or they have these fun images as backgrounds. So that is housed here on the Google Keep interface. I can add images. That's how I added this classroom decoration image. I can also archive my notes, and then I can also collaborate. So I am in charge of some things for our school's homecoming, and I have a partner who does that with me with a club. So I can click this plus button and I can add her email, and she will get a notification that a Google Keep note has been shared with her. So this becomes really important when working with students, especially students that really struggle with keeping track of things, keeping organized. You know, we want to encourage them to make lists for themselves and cross things off when they're done. And Google Keep is a great way to do that, especially if they are accessing their Gmail. And I don't know about you all, but at my school, we send a lot of messages. And sometimes my students decide that they're no longer going to look because it's overwhelming to see their inbox so filled. So this can be a nice way to help keep things organized using Google Keep. Okay, the next integration that I want to show you, I'm actually super, super excited about. And this one is called Tasks. Now, Tasks does not have its own interface like Google Keep does. So Google Keep, you can go to keep.google.com and it will pull up all of your sticky notes. There is also a mobile app. So all of your Google Keep notes sync. Tasks is a little bit different. It lives within Gmail. Tasks does have a mobile app, which is great. But it really is designed to work right here within your Gmail. And let me show you how that works. So you can see here that I have some tasks already set up here. And this one, this collect attendance info, is indented. This is a subtask. So another way that you can organize your to-do list, sometimes I have lists upon my lists. I can create a task and then I can create subtasks underneath that. Where this comes into play with students is often my students have a big project to do. It's got lots of different parts to it. And okay, let's sit down, let's break down those different parts, and let's set some due dates for when those different parts are going to be due. So what they can do is they can create a task. So they can create, let's see, if it's a social studies project, they can create a task right here. And they can then click the 3 vertical dot menu and they can add a subtask. So if the first part is research, they can go ahead and they can put their details in here, search online. They can add search, maybe interview. So all the different things that they need to do that become part of the research for doing that social studies project. So let's say there's another part to add. So yes, they're going to do research. They also need to create a visual and perhaps as they're creating that visual, they're going to need supplies. So gather supplies. Maybe they need to draw a kind of a blueprint of what they want their visual to look like. And so now I put these, create visual came up above research, but I want them to do the research first. So as I click over where it says research, I have this little section of dots here and it turns into a hand. I can click and drag that up. And so I can move them around so that they show up in different orders. I can also click and I can set a due date. I can even set what time that's going to be done. And when it does that, you will see in calendar that wants to show me notifications. Okay. So you will see that this research task will now show up on September 21st. Here it is. Oh, nope. I got my date wrong. Research. Where is it? So it will show up in your calendar. And if you don't see it in your calendar, then you know that you have to make sure that the tasks calendar is selected. And I'm wondering why it's not showing right here.
It is. It's at 11 o'clock. Take a look at 11. Right there on the 22nd. You changed it to
gosh. Yes, I did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Clearly not wearing my glasses because vanity. Thanks. So here it is, research. So it will automatically populate to my calendar. Now you'll notice that these icons are showing up here in Google Calendar. These integrations, yes, they are in Gmail. They are in all Google products. So again, just making things really seamless and easy to work within the different products and help us to work a little bit smarter. I think I love the language that Tammy used earlier about removing barriers for students. And so many times coming up with the steps and then coming up with the due date times, and then you have to put them somewhere else and where did they go? And this way they just automatically show up in the calendar and can even get a notification for that. So right here within tasks and subtasks, I can also create lists. So the default is my tasks, but you'll see that I have other lists here. So I teach a class called peer mentoring. This is my list of tasks for my peer mentoring class. And as I complete a task, I can click it. It will show up as task completed. And now down here at the bottom, so it's not gone. It's just down here under the completed section. Let's say I marked it accidentally. I didn't actually finish it. I can always bring it back up to the top. So that's kind of nice. It's so satisfying to be able to click and check things off your list. And that is something that we really want to encourage our students to do. That is a lifelong skill. They will always have things that have to be taken care of and attended to. And if we can help them to create systems, really smart systems that will work for them, then I think that it will help them not just in their success in school, but lots of areas of their life. So here we go. I can create a new list right here. But what I want to show you, if I go back to my tasks, this social studies project. So as I hover over it, I get this 3-dot menu. And let's say, okay, social studies is going to be a whole thing. I'm now going to click new list. And what it will do is it will move that item to my new list automatically. So sometimes we don't know all of the parts that are going to go into completing a project. So we might start with just a general task list and then realize, oh, this needs to be in its own category on its own list. And you've already started making the tasks. No worries. You can just click here, go to new list, and it will create it for you, which is really nice. And here I can see all of my lists. Now I know that Katie had talked about starred messages, and you can also star your tasks. So these are my starred tasks, and I can filter by clicking up here and clicking starred. So as I'm looking at my tasks, you can see this one I had starred, send email for club meeting agendas. I'm going to star that one too. So now when I click to filter, I can see everything that I had starred. It's nice because it kind of draws a little bit of extra attention. And sometimes I will have tasks that I know need to be attended to, but I can't do it right this minute. I will quick star it and then later filter my starred tasks to be able to just find those things that were important. Okay, but we are in Gmail. And so let's take a look at what this integration looks like. So here I have this message about calling Samantha's parents. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a task, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this message and I'm going to click and drag it. And now what it did was it created a task for me automatically, and it automatically names it with the subject of the email. So this is fine, but it doesn't have all the information that I need. So I can edit it right here, and I can put the student's name. And here I can put any details. I can also schedule it. So I want to make sure that I call them on Monday at 8 a.m. And I can make sure to include my details here of everything that I want to make sure that I tell Samantha's parents when I call. So this is a great placeholder for really important information. I also am guilty of using my inbox. Sometimes I will leave things as unread, or I will move messages, I will label them and then come back to them. Why not just drag them over and add tasks right there? So here's another one. So I'm going to make plans for our upcoming all staff meeting. And again, this is where I can put some details, and I can mark a day and a time that I want to make sure I get notified so I don't forget to do it. So that is tasks, which I love, love, love. I have one more to show you, and that is contacts. So again, it would make sense that contacts would be integrated right here within Gmail. You can see that if you click on a message, it will show you the contacts that are in that thread. So these are the people that are involved in that email message. Sometimes my school email, we have 7 or 8 different people, and people are replying and responding. And if I want to just keep track in my contacts of everyone that's on that one email thread, I can just click contacts, and there it is. Now I have this contact here, and I have all of the details right in here, which is great. I can send an email to that contact right in here. I can also schedule an event. This is kind of cool. So when I click that button, it opens up in Calendar, and you'll see that that email address is already listed under guests. So that is already taken care of for you, which is really nice. I can also click up here, the little person icon, and I can add them to my contacts with one click. So I definitely know in the early days, there were times that I was like typing in everybody's names and email addresses, and you do not have to do that anymore. So if you're worried that you're going to lose someone's contact information, it's going to get lost in your sea of emails, consider clicking the contacts button and you can just add them as a contact right there. So these are the integrations within Gmail. You will also see, though, that those same integrations show up in Calendar with a few maybe minor differences. You'll also see them show up in Docs. So lots of Google products will have these integrations. So Maps is integrated within Calendar, which is great. So just a quick review. We clicked this button down at the right to find our integrations. We have an integration of Gmail within Calendar, so you can see all of your events. Google Keep, which is your digital sticky notes. Google Tasks, which is your to-do list on steroids. And Contacts, so you can make sure that you have really nicely organized all of the people that you're interacting with.
Thank you. That was so cool. I learned so much. I feel like I'm at book club. I just needed some wine and cheese just to be listening to that and you doing that. I'm adding these everybody to the stream here. I'm going to see if I can share mine.
Let me stop sharing.
Through the Chrome. And just wanted to say just a couple of things. One, that we have some upcoming summits, but if you're in North America, you're noticing that none of them are here. They're in Europe and the UK. Well, the UK is in Europe, but you get my idea. Europe, UK, and we've also got Korea, South Korea. So if you are maybe interested in getting our spot up here for North America, that'd be great. We had an amazing time in Florida last month. Was it? Yeah, it was last month, almost 2 months ago, but last month, which was a lot of fun. But if you're interested, please let me know if you'd like to host a summit. Otherwise, if you happen to be in UK, Europe, or South Korea, please feel free to join our upcoming summits. And I just want to say thank you so much, ladies, for joining us today. This was so much fun. I hope you'll consider coming back. If anyone who is watching this has any suggestions or any topics they'd like us to bring back for the next Edu Summit, please feel free to reach out to us at, you can reach out to me at Kate at appsevents.com. And we would love to include some topics that you might want a book club. I don't know what it's called, video club. Is that what you guys would say? Video club? Going on. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for joining, and we will hopefully see you all soon.